Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. The New Orleans Pelicans continue their 5-game road trip to the East Coast. Mixed results, a bad loss in Boston, a really good win in Detroit, and still two lowly teams to face, Philadelphia, and then the Knicks, who are coming back from London and haven't won a game since last year, it seems, or something like that. And then, of course, the trip to Toronto as well. So, Lenny, the prospects of a 3-2 trip look pretty good. As we said beforehand, that would be the tonic, and 4-1 would be outstanding.
Right. You find a way to win all 3 of these that are remaining, that's great. But if you can get 2 out of 3, you come home a game over 500 with the Lakers awaiting you when you do come home on Wednesday, that would be okay, I guess. So, yeah, surprising these first 2 games. A loss at Boston, a win at Detroit. You figure you're 1-1 at this point. You figure it would be the other way around. But you just never know on some nights what you're going to get out of this Pelicans team. I think the one thing that we did see coming out of Wednesday night's game is that Quincy Pondexter could be a nice addition for this club.
Well, he played 32 minutes in his debut without having really practiced with the team, which is amazing. And he made 3 3-pointers, which was outstanding, and kudos to him. And, of course, Jimmer Fredette played well. He's now solidly in the rotation, and he did a good job. Ryan Anderson, per usual. Tyreek Evans had a great game in replacing Drew Holiday, who's day-to-day. Anthony Davis, well, he was Anthony Davis, and Omar Ashik did a good job. So, good performance at Detroit. They beat a team that had won 9 out of 10 games, so that was outstanding, and hopefully they can carry it on. Of course, the other part of that deal was Austin Rivers, and as was speculated, Rivers did end up with his father in Los Angeles with the Clippers.
See how that works out. I think at this point he needs a new lease on life, and perhaps being reunited with Dad might be a chance to do that with the Clippers, although with as deep as that team is, I don't know how much he's really going to get a chance to play there.
College basketball, and Tulane coming off of a very difficult loss in overtime at Central Florida. Still in good shape in the American Athletic Conference at 3-2. LSU with a really good road win at Ole Miss. They've got themselves in good position now at 2-1 in the conference, and they've got A&M. So it's an interesting weekend for those two. UNO, of course, coming off of a loss, and the Privateers, of course, trying to stay solvent in the Southland Conference. They've been competitive to this point. Just a little bit about college basketball.
Right. The game Wednesday night, the Tulane UCF game, was incredibly compelling. You had it brought back some real memories, and I wrote a little bit about it at SportsNola.com, just about some of those, marathon games that Tulane played. I remember the 82-83 season, Tulane had 2 of those games that they lost, one of them to North Carolina when Michael Jordan threw one in at the buzzer when Tulane had the ball out of bounds on a 2-point lead. And then that 4 overtime game that you and I both saw in the Superdome against UNO on a January night back in 1983. It was, brought back some memories of some of those games. And what's interesting is Tulane's now played 5 of these games and they've never won one between the games that have gone 3 or 4 overtimes. So you got to put that one behind you and go on. They're facing a Houston team on Saturday that's winless in the league. LSU, you mentioned. Huge win for them at Ole Miss, a chance to come home against an A&M team that played Kentucky off their feet last Saturday. Early start for both Tulane and LSU on Saturday, 11 a.m. for both of them. You got to get firing early. You can't still be in bed, so to speak, when this game gets started. And then, like you said, UNO, extended road trip here. Got to find a way to try to get one on the road before you come back home next Saturday.
I guess you could say in the Ole Miss game that Hornsby found the range.
Yeah, thank you. That was. I was waiting for you to do that. You were Mr. Musical Reference, so thank you for that, and that's just the way it is. So.
Strange-looking shot he's got, but he's a pretty good shooter.
He is. He's been a big addition to that team, and I mean, things are only going to get better for this LSU team, depending on how many guys actually stay around with the additions they've got coming in next year. Future very, very bright in Baton Rouge in terms of basketball.
Loyola up to number 4 in the women's poll this week in NAIA, and they promptly lost their first game at Bethel, so they're 14-1 now. And still a very good season today for Kelly Kennedy's team. High school basketball, of course, it's Friday night, and Friday night means action everywhere. District play started already in some areas, starts in other areas, and we'll have some high school basketball to tell you about and to show you. We had some All-State Sugar Bowl basketball for you last week at SportsNola.com. More to come. A few radio games coming up. We'll tell you about that, too. So get out and see a high school basketball game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A great time for high school sports. You got basketball going, you got wrestling going, you got soccer going, although it's been a little chilly to go out and check out soccer, perhaps. A lot of great team activity going on. About another month of the regular season in both of those sports before you get into championships in late February and into March.
Yeah, Louisiana Classic going on in wrestling in Baton Rouge this weekend with pretty much every top team in the state there. So that will be a good indicator of what is to come. NFL playoffs, championship games, of course, the Seattle Seahawks at home, where they seldom lose against Green Bay. And Aaron Rodgers, you always give him a puncher's chance. New England at home against Indianapolis, and Andrew Luck, who you can't ignore either. So I got to like the favorites in these games. I can't pick against those two at home. And realistically, they've been the two best teams. So if they both got there, this would be the matchup that really you should want to see because it's the two best teams.
It seems that way. The thing that is most compelling to me, really two things most compelling to me this week, is how healthy is Aaron Rodgers and what can he do against that Seattle secondary? If they've got any chance at all, he's got to be on his game. And then secondly, what is New England going to do offensively this week? They did not, except for Tom Brady taking a knee, did not run the ball at all in the second half last week. Mm-hmm. But yet when they played Indianapolis the first time this year, they basically lined up the whole game with two tight ends and two running backs and ran the ball down their throat with a guy we'd never heard of before named Jonas Gray. So what New England team are we going to see against Indianapolis? It's amazing to me that the Patriots are a team that can literally, from week to week, game plan and reinvent themselves and show you something totally different. And will be interesting to see how they attack the Colts this week.
With Belichick, you never know. And with Green Bay, they need to run the ball. They need to run Eddie Lacy and run him frequently and try to possess the ball. Teams that do well against Seattle, that's what they do. Dallas earlier this year. Even the Saints in the playoffs last year ran the ball well against Seattle, were it not for a fumble by Ingram and a drop screen pass by Ingram. They had a shot in that game. So I think that's the tonic for them is run the football, keep the ball. Should be fun.
It should be. Looking forward to Sunday.
All right, that is our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Thanks, Lenny. Have a great weekend.
All right, we'll see you Monday.
And thank you for joining us. Until Monday, God bless you.